Hi, I'm Jon-David Lenard.
And I'm Danielle Lenard. Welcome to Lenard Team Connections. We're pleased to be here for our second show, staying connected with the people who are making an impact in our community.
Today, we're going to be talking with Maria Gavriel, known locally as a business coach helping small businesses. Today, though, she'll be sharing another passion of hers, transformational coach. She's an author and a blogger focusing on mindfulness.
And I think we can all agree that that's something we could all benefit right now. But first, some uplifting news local to our community.
Danielle, I saw recently, I think it was yesterday, the day before, a post that came from a local restaurant right here in Smithtown, known as La Familia. They posted a picture of a pickup truck filled with meals that they were bringing to St. Catherine's Hospital for the healthcare professionals that, could really use any kind of uplifting right now.
Yeah, they're really in the trenches. And what was also uplifting on that page was to also see then all the cards that people sent in addition, just even whatever little bit that they could give to help support what La Familia is doing.
Yeah. And it's kind of like heartwarming, like the post itself is heartwarming, but when you look at the comments on the side, you see people that have been impacted by this, either whether it be healthcare professionals themselves or family of those healthcare professionals, talking about how difficult it is and just how the arrival of things like those meals really brings some sunshine to an otherwise difficult, grueling, and frankly a scary day.
Yeah. So, it's great to see what they're doing. And, if you see an act of kindness or generosity that you think deserves recognition, please tell us about it in the comments and share a link if you have one so that we may potentially feature them in the future.
Yeah, on a future episode. And moving on, in an effort to keep our children occupied and continue to enrich their lives, we are still traveling. Well, virtually, that is.
So, for those that know us or maybe not, but we've grown up traveling. So that is definitely, something that means a lot to us. So, one of the museums that right now is doing a tour is the Louvre. And we kind of have a funny memory ourselves of the Louvre. Remember when we fell asleep in front of the Mona Lisa?
I think we were in front of the Mona Lisa. You and I were both on a bench, and I don't know, it was something about the lighting or the air, but we couldn't keep our eyes open, and we fell asleep leaning on each other. And as soon as we got back out to the, outside to the fresh air, we were running around again. We were pretty young, so.
Yeah, exactly. Well, now you can watch it online and fall asleep on your own couch.
Yeah, but that's true. But there's other museums, there's zoos, there's even theme parks offering for virtual tours to virtually get out of the house, if you will, and look around the world.
And then next thing that I would like to share is, talking about getting out there. Right now, the Peloton Digital app is offering 90 days without a fee. So you can trial the app for 90 days. Now, this app has some really great features. It's not just the bike anymore. If you have your own treadmill at home, you can do classes on your own tread. If you have your own bike, you can do classes. They have the Peloton Outdoor has phenomenal walking, running, marathon training. I mean, the whole gamut from first starting out to serious athletes.
And Danielle, they even have yoga, right?
They have yoga. They even have meditation, which will slide nicely right into what Maria is going to talk to us about.
Well, I've got a question about that. I mean, are they pre-recorded yoga classes, or are they live like the bicycle classes?
That's actually a really good question. Some of them I think might go live now, but there are definitely plenty of pre-recorded.
Okay, good to know.
And all different lengths of time. You could do a 5-minute class and a 45-hour, 90-minute class.
Well, I'll tell you, I don't usually do yoga, but right about now, I would even consider some yoga. So maybe I'll get the app. All right.
Well, We're grateful to have Maria as our guest on Lenard Team Connections today. I think we could all use some advice on how to incorporate mindfulness in this new normal.
Hey, Maria.
Hey. Hi, guys. It's great to be here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So let's jump right in. Maria, can you start by telling us about who you are, what you do, and how your work has shifted in the past couple of weeks?
Sure. Yeah. So I do want to, before I go into me, I want to just love on you too. Just watching you too is a heart opener for me. I love what you're doing. I love what you just jumped right in to create out of nowhere because there was a need, and just watching this whole thing and watching people step up and show up for community is huge. It's very inspiring. And so thank you so much. And I really appreciate both of you for having me here and help you and support you in doing that. It means a lot to me. So thank you. And I do want to love on you some more and give you recognition for your acts of kindness and generosity out there. Thank you so much. It trickles out more than I think you will ever know.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yes, thank you. What I've been doing is I've been helping women for the last few years start up their dreams, bring their passions to life, and create businesses that they love so that they can go out and also make an impact in the world. I think that means a lot to all of us. And as far as my work, since this whole thing has, this wrench has been thrown in the system, it hasn't really been impacted in a negative way. I have gotten busier in many ways. People that do know me and clients of mine have been sharing my name and saying, you know, Maria, she's pivoting. She's good at pivoting and transforming. And my business is pretty much recession or crisis proof. But because of that, I've been on phone calls a lot and sharing a lot and trying to also explore ways to be able to give a lot of info to as many people as possible. So I've been putting programs together, and I'm going live with that as well next week. But what's really changed for me is mostly my personal life, because my husband is home and the kids are home and I work from home and I go deep with my work. So having my kids next door screaming and yelling and hearing their classrooms go live has been kind of a challenge for us. It's been the adjustment for sure.
Something we are certainly all experiencing.
Yes.
So, you know, there's a lot of uncertainty in our day-to-day lives, as we've been discussing. How can people who are home, unsure of how to handle their free time, best take care of their emotions?
Yeah. So I love this question, honestly, because I think not many people are actually asking this question, and a lot of people are being caught in this wave of emotion, which is it's alive, it's there, it's palpable, right? And the most important thing is, what do you do? What do you do during times like this for yourself, for your loved ones, and then for the collective, like you are, for your community, right? The most important thing is to be with whatever is showing up for you. Be with whatever feelings, and every day, from day to day, from moment to moment, that could be different. And it could also show up differently for each family member. It could also show up differently, not just in your own family unit, but in your extended family unit and in your community. So allowing yourself and giving yourself full permission to feel whatever it is that you're feeling and to be with that. Because number one, the only way out is through. So you have to get through that feeling, come out on the other side. Yeah.
So let's say,
yeah.
Maria, I've got a follow-up question. If let's say somebody's watching this and they go, okay, great, I'm gonna practice that. I'm gonna practice what Maria is suggesting, but maybe somebody in their family hasn't watched it, so they don't know the context. They may feel let down or spurned, right? Do you ever experience that? Like, you have a mental breakthrough, but the other person hasn't yet. So you have to give them permission, right? Also to not necessarily be where you're at as well, right?
100%. Everyone's going to be wherever they're at with this. And that's the key, permission and allowing and letting everyone just go through it in the wherever they're at, whatever level they're at, whatever feeling it is, and even the perspective. Everyone's having a different perspective about why this is happening, how this is happening, how to deal with it, what's okay, what's not okay. And just, you know, maybe even your own child will be like, I want to go out. And your husband's like, I don't want to go out. So, you know, just really allowing everyone to feel what it is and not having judgment or righting or wronging someone. Permission is probably the biggest key here, and allowing and being with your feelings. I know for some of us, it could be an opportunity for time freedom. For everybody's going to see this differently, and it's perfectly okay. There's no one way.
So thank you for sharing with us. There's no one way. Let everybody do your best to be where you are at the moment, each person, and just do the best we can. Thank you, Maria, for being here with us. If you're watching this on Facebook Live and have a question about mindfulness, put it in the comments and we will do our best to answer it at the end. So we just talked about people who are isolated at home. On the other end of things, we have medical professionals and essential businesses that are open with people working overtime. How do you suggest they make time for mindfulness throughout the day?
Yeah, so true. So you see two opposite ends of this spectrum, right? So there's people that are like, oh my gosh, I have all the time in the world to read my books and do all these things that I always wanted to do. And that's great. Great opportunity to see it that way. See it as you have time abundance, time freedom, time to do all that you ever wanted. Maybe even focus on your side hustle. Maybe start meditating and bringing in new practices, going through your books, maybe even creating rituals with your family, right? So there's that. And then at the same time, on the other side of that is, you know, the reality that people are experiencing where they are overwhelmed, whether that's because you're on the front line or even at home. There's families that are overwhelmed even at home because now, again, everyone is home and they're just not sure how to manage this whole new way of life, right? This sudden change of everything. So when you are feeling that overwhelm, and this doesn't happen only during a moment of crisis or if you're at the front line, I think this is important to think about from day to day when we do go back to whatever that new normal is, you know, when we have to go back to work and all that. What do you do when you're, you know, overwhelmed at work and you feel like you're time crunching or trying to create more time space? I think it's important, number one, to not bring the work at home. So right now for like people at the front lines that have essential businesses, it's important, just like any other moment, to leave it at the door and maybe take a pause, maybe in the driveway or before you go in, and take a moment and maybe even think about what it is that you're grateful for. Maybe even say, you know what, I'm grateful that I got to help people today. I'm grateful that I got to work today. I'm grateful that I get to do what I got to do today. So bringing in gratitude, you know, pause, gratitude. If you feel like you can't shake it off and you had a tough day, which I'm sure a lot of people are out there having experiences we can't even imagine, how do you not bring that into your family and in your home? Reach out to another person. Let someone, you've been giving all day, give. It's what we do as parents. And maybe for that moment, ask someone to help you and support you, for you to lean on, and then you receive from them to fill your cup so that then you can walk through your door and be able to give some more, because your family's going to ask you to give as well. So taking that moment, practicing gratitude, and maybe reaching out for help and switching it up from giving to receiving mode, and then going in and sharing. I think the other step is communicating with your family, keeping it real and saying, hey, I had a tough day today. Don't go in and pretend everything's hunky-dory, because that's just not real. And people are going to, especially your kids, are going to sniff it from a mile away. So, you know.
And so that's a perfect segue, because what I wanted to ask next was, what about the people who are getting used to working from home with their spouses and children? Or as you said, coming home, they're out there working, they're coming home from possibly a stressful situation. How can families practice mindfulness together?
Great. Yes. Thank you. Thank you, JD. Yeah. So yeah, coming home, how do we now reconnect, right? Maybe you have to leave the work in your home office or outside at the door. Communication, bonding. This is a time to really upgrade that skill, really bring it into the home and into the family, and not just in the family, I think also to community, just like you guys are. So communicating and saying, hey, how was your day today? And maybe your kids have a one-word answer like, it's fine. okay, then you can share more. Share more about what yours was like.
Because let's be real, our kids,
Exactly.
my sons aren't big shares. So yeah.
No. Especially after a certain age too, it's like, it's fine.
Yeah.
And it's how it is, and that's okay. And again, permission allowing, right? And share more about yours. You don't have to go into the intensity of it, but share more, communicate, and maybe asking what kind of help you can get from them. Hey guys, if like I asked for my kids to make their own lunches now that they're home from, homeschooling, and we're all home. And if they can make something for me as well, because I'm working all day from home. So putting out requests and working as a team and having a powwow and talking about it together, and everybody bringing ideas together of how do we create this new structure at home? How do we make this work? Maybe headsets, maybe putting the volume down. I know that was my request. Can we get headsets, please? And talking about it. So communicating, and I feel like the communication then increases the bonding in the family. Yeah. And that we don't do much of, because we're always running to all the activities, right? Basketball, all the to-dos that we were doing before COVID didn't really allow I know some of my clients didn't even have time for dinner together anymore. So we're now sitting together, we're having meals together, we're talking, we're bonding, we're going for walks, so these are all great things to do to practice mindfulness and connection.
Maria, that makes me think that there's a lot of uncertainty out there, frankly speaking. But if you, like us, search for the silver lining in things, that is one thing that I think will come out of this. Most of us will be okay coming out of this as far as our health goes, right? And I think it's going to maybe reset the bar on what is important to us as families, right?
Yes. I think that's going to be one of the gifts, maybe one of the many gifts we're given, is that reset and reflection. And also, I think it may even allow for healing. I know we're having a lot of conversations at home about things like during the walk, things came up and we shared some things that maybe the other didn't want to hear, but hey, it came out. It's an upheaval in many ways. So allow it to be that. And it may have a very thick silver lining, more than we may expect. I agree. Yeah.
So we've talked about all the people that are in together. Do you have any advice specifically for some of the people that are in this and they're in their houses alone?
Yeah. If you're going to experience this alone, and I think some people may not have a choice, some people will have to quarantine. I know people personally that are, for whatever reasons. There's so many things that you can do for yourself again, right? Think of morning rituals that you would want to create. Think of all the things that you were like, I wish I could do that. I was joking around with a client the other day and I was saying, people pay big money to go to retreats and isolate themselves from everything, or they go on quests. That costs a lot of money to do.
Yeah.
You could do it for free now,
Yeah.
You could have that self-reflection and read your books and drink your tea and do your meditations, all the things that you wanted to do, you can do right now. And you can still go outside. Maybe if you have a backyard, go plant. It's beautiful out. Go get some natural vitamin D and, obviously in your own space, and plant a flower or something. Planting has its own wonderful, people actually say it's healing. Going into the earth, feeling that grounding, creating, planting. There's something symbolic about that. It feels really good. So there's plenty of things that you can do to honor yourself. And maybe that's exactly what the doctor ordered. Maybe that's exactly what you should be doing right now,
Great.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for joining us today, Maria. We appreciate all you're doing for our community.
Thank you. Thank you guys again. Thank you so much.
And thanks again for joining us on Lenard Team Connections. We look forward to connecting with more people like Maria who are supporting our community.
If you know anybody who does or have access yourself to medical masks, I have a friend, a Smithtown ER doctor, who says if he needs one thing right now, it's more masks. I would like to create some kind of effort to collect the masks that we can find and utilizing my friend to make sure that they get into the right hands as quickly as possible. I appreciate all that you can do. Please reach out, and I would love to coordinate this and make it happen. Danielle, right? I can't just sit here and do nothing. I know we're doing the show, but I feel like there's more to be done.
Yeah.
I'm going to say something about this right now, because you sitting there and saying, I can't just sit here and do nothing, and you guys saying we got to do something, prompted your first live the other day with Smithtown's Children's Foundation with Chris, which I watched and I was very inspired by, and that's what got me so excited about what you're doing. So right away, I'm hearing her talk about we need help, to create masks, and I'm like, what are those masks going to do, really? So I got on the phone right away and I reached out to someone. So I'm going to be connecting you with someone to get those masks in your hands and getting them to as many people as possible. So this is how it rolls. This is how we do. So thank you.
And
thank you.
This is what it's about. We are a community. We are together in this. We're going to come out stronger for it. We're going to be tested, and we are going to pass. But it's these communication. It's this connective tissue that we have, that just by saying it just now, we may have at least one road, but let's try to find how many pathways we can to solving this issue together. The medical staff that are out there that are protecting ourselves and possibly going home to their families, and they're scared about this, they need masks. So let's do our part. Let's see what we can do. Let's try to get some masks together and get them delivered. Thanks, everybody, and see you next time.